Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the start of the week. It is Monday, May 22nd, 2023, and this is News in Motion. If you're tuning in through YouTube or Facebook, we just want to say thank you for tuning in with us live here at 7:25. Or if you're catching the replay, whether it's in the afternoon, the evening, or in the nighttime, we just want to say thank you for tuning in. To our audio and podcast listeners, thank you for turning your dials to Hot 97 News in Motion for your relevant commentary and call to action news. And the start of the week, as you're heading into the workplace, maybe you're going to Starbucks to grab up your croissant and coffee, or you're probably dropping off the kiddos off at school. But whatever you're doing, thank you for tuning in. I see Deborah Johnson coming in here. She will be on later on today around 5:30 with Right from the Heart. We also have Regina Shorts coming in through Facebook and Robert Holman. So as y'all are coming into the room, be sure to share this with a few friends, and y'all know what we do. Let's go listen for some news in motion.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Monday, y'all. It is Monday, May the 22nd. I am your host, Gail Dudley. And as Isaiah has already shared, it is time for News in Motion. Yes, Deborah Johnson comes on tonight at 5 o'clock right here on News in Motion, or DJ Right from the Heart, or YouTube as well. So check her out, and her LinkedIn. Check her out there. Regina Shorts, again, good morning. Good morning, Robert Holman. Marion Jackson's in here. Kim Edmondson, Kenny Stanley, who's also in the green room. Adrian, thank you so much, y'all. The Lincoln Project was putting on Twitter, who's your trusted news source? And Adrian and I connected, and she made a post yesterday saying News in Motion. So I thank you for your ongoing support with that. And I also see Shardinia coming in here. If you're on Facebook, you're like, wow, there's not many people on here, because they're really on YouTube. They're tuning in from the YouTube channel or on the podcast, listening by audio as they're listening while they live. So y'all, today again is Monday, May the 22nd, 2023. I want to hear how your weekend is. You know, this is a talk back type of show. So just go ahead and put in the chat something amazing you did over this weekend, and I will grab it and shout it out. This is also graduation time. So shout out to Gabby Moulton. She graduated from high school on yesterday. So we just want to shout her out, and shout out her mama and dad, Mr. and Mrs. Dr. Mr. and Dr. Moulton. Let me say that right. So again, there's some graduations that are coming in here. So if you have a graduate or someone you want to shout out, please put it out there and we will talk about it. Also, y'all, Cherie Brooks Wallace, who's normally on here with us, off and on here, right here on News in Motion, we want to say congratulations to her. She graduated from the Goldman Sachs 10,000 small business cohort over the weekend. So shout out to Cherie Brooks Wallace for that. If I see her coming here later, I'll shout her out once again. I see you, Fred Jones. I see you, Donita, coming in here as well. Kenny Stanley said YouTube is the News in Motion party spot. Look, they are going a little buck wild in there. All right, y'all. Thank you for allowing me to spend a little bit of time with you Monday through Thursday at 7:25 a.m. if you're tuning in live or later on. Again, shout out to all the podcast listeners out there as well. Now, Kenny's saying this YouTube. YouTube allows you to do the chat as well as Facebook and LinkedIn. But those podcasting listeners, they be in. Kim Edmondson says happy 22nd birthday to her youngest son, Andre, today. So happy birthday. Shout out to Andre. Happy 22. Happy 22. Y'all know what I say. We're going to help these young people. Kim Edmondson, put his Cash App out there. Listen, y'all, it don't have to be $22. It could be $2. It could be $5. Buy the boy some gas, cup of coffee or something. So Kim Edmondson, if he's okay with it, put his Cash App out there. And if y'all see that over there on YouTube, please, 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 just send him. Let's blow his mind. He'll be like, where's this money coming from? News in Motion supports the young people all day, every day. Latrice Jones, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. All right, y'all. Real quick, as you're putting in what you were doing over the weekend. Yesterday, I returned to the pulpit, church pulpit. And I preached after 3 years of not being in a church pulpit. I returned on yesterday, and I must say, God did bless. I believe He blessed that message, and the people did hear, and that there was a response. We have the link. Some of you have been asking me, like, "Hey, was there a link?" Well, I believe the link is still up there. I believe they archive their messages, so it's up there, secondbaptistcolumbus.com. You should be able to hear. It was their Women's Day, and they came to have church. They came to have church. I was like, all right now. Deborah Johnson said your sermon was awesome. Was your sermon was fire. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that, Deborah. Thank you for all your prayers as well. I wrestled a little bit, but then I said, all right, God, you do what you need to do. And He did. So, y'all, with that, I'm going to give you just a couple news tips, and then I'm going to bring in Kenny Stanley for Game Over, and then I'll come back with more news. Actually, I'm going to give you one, because then the rest of them kind of all links together. So, in the news, and I want to pray for this, being that it is graduation season. Whether you agree or disagree, we still have to uplift our children. Uplift our children. Latrice Jones said, welcome to the assignment. Yeah, that was the name of the sermon. Welcome to the assignment. She says it was a rhema word. Bless you, my friend. Bless you, bless you, bless you. And God gave me that. He gave me the sermon, the title, the points. I think because I started writing out the outline about 2 weeks ago. You chew on it, you see where God is taking you. You're putting all the sermon together, and then Thursday I pretty much completed the message, and I had to go through it first. And I now really understand when pastors, preachers, ministers say God takes them through it first, so that you're able to deliver it to the people. Good morning, Judy Neal. I see you there as well. So back to our children. We need to really pray for our children, and the things that are happening, regardless of your stance or your belief. I want to talk about real quick a Mississippi school district. Uh, they are considering, or did consider, stopping a transgender student from attending her graduation unless she wore male designated attire instead of a dress under her robe. Now, this was a Trump appointed federal judge who ruled this past Friday, and her graduation was happening at 6 p.m. So you can go to MississippiFreePress.org and read the entire story. But y'all, we have to protect our children. We have to protect our children. Here's a person who made it through, I guess, glowingly with the grades, GPA, and so forth. And I don't know the outcome to this yet, because there was a lot of protesting and uproar, but there's a lot that's happening. And from the message I shared on yesterday, this is a part of trauma, pain, rejection, and wounds. And we wonder why people are responding the way they are responding today. It's because of what they're going through. I can't imagine what young people are dealing with today. I can't imagine. You have legislation taking away health care. You have legislation, to some degree, denying human rights. You have legislation that's silencing people. There's a lot going on, and we have to pay attention to it. When we're looking at legislation, lawmakers, the Senate, the House, whether it's local or state, It's more than what you believe. And it's more than that. And we're going to get into this more later. Not necessarily today, but it's more than that. It's looking at policies and procedures and what's best for the country and for people, and how we cannot project our stuff onto other people. We have to look at it through a larger lens. So much we have to unpack there, and we'll get to it. But y'all, I have some more news I'm gonna come back and hit you with in a few moments. But first up, let me go to Kenny Stanley with Game Over. Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's happening?
I was waiting for the intro. I see that didn't happen today.
Hey, what's going on?
It's all about what's happening here. I need to know, did the Lakers choke or what? Like what's
They
happening?
old. I think the oldest done showed up. Father Time don't lose.
Wow. Wow,
Father
wow,
Time
wow.
don't lose.
I was like, what is
Hey,
happening?
boy, I'm shocked also. I'm shocked. Not like that. Don't go out like this. Not like this.
I
But
was looking at some of your posts over the weekend. I said, Kenny bringing out the fat lady to sing already.
oh yeah, she getting ready to sing. She got two shows this week.
Two- well, I'm gonna
Tonight
let
and
you take
tomorrow.
it over. Go for it.
Hey, News in Motion family. Hey, welcome to Game Over with me, Kenny Stanley. Hey, there's hope. It's slim, but there's still hope. And from the looks of it, neither the Boston Celtics nor the Los Angeles Lakers will be hanging their 18th banner, NBA championship banner this year. I don't think it's going to happen. Um, both teams' fate look like they will be on vacation at this time next week. Yep, both teams will be swept out the playoffs starting tonight with the Lakers going home. They're going fishing tonight. Hope they got the charter boat ready. On Saturday, uh, the home court on their home court, the Lakers looked old. Didn't have the legs to keep up with the youngins from Denver. The Lakers lost 119 to 108. Denver has shooters everywhere. They shot 41% from three and 50% for the game. Period. For the game, Jamal Murray dropped 37 points to lead five players in double figures. As Anthony Davis had one of his on again, off again games, but it was no use as Denver ran them out the gym. Davis finished with 28 points and 18 rebounds. LeBron James and Austin Reeves both had 23 points. Last night, Miami Heat showed the world that they are serious contenders for the NBA championship. The Heat took Boston to the woodshed and beat them 128 to 102. Miami's defense shut Boston down, holding Jason Tatum to 14 points and Jaylen Brown to 12. Boston had no answer as Miami's defense into instant offense on the turned into instant offense, and it wasn't Jimmy Butler who led the way. It was Gabe Vincent, who was on fire, dropping 29 points, going 11 for 14 on 11 for 14 shooting. He was 6 from 9 from 3-point. And then Duncan Robinson came off the bench, and he kicked in 22 points on 7-11 shooting, and he was 5 for 7 from 3. The Heat has scores up and down their bench, and they showed their muscle and their depth last night as 11 of their 12 players played. Uh, it just shows Boston's coach is being outcoached. That's just all it is to it. They shouldn't have fired the other coach. But you see what happens. You see what happened. Boston's coach is being outcoached. He has no answer for Miami. Denver will sweep the Lakers tonight. Yep, I said it. I was going for the Lakers. I said the Lakers in 6. But Denver will sweep the Lakers tonight. And Miami has chartered a boat for Boston so they can start their vacation right after the game in Miami. They can sail on from Miami right after the game on Tuesday night. Both teams will be swept, and we're going to have a Denver and Miami championship coming up. Hey, that's sports. I'm going to see y'all on Thursday morning. Back to news with Gail right now on News in Motion.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Now,
you.
y'all see what happens. He was like Lakers in 6. He like changed that story real quick.
Yeah, real quick. I said Lakers in 6. It's not happening. It's
It's
not
not
happening.
happening.
Man, Denver is killing them.
It is
Denver's
not
killing them.
happening.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
Well, we
Hey,
will see you Thursday
I
morning.
see
Thank
y'all
you so
Thursday.
much.
All right.
Thank you. All right, y'all, back to some news headlines. That was news as well. Um, it's interesting to see how things just, change. You're thinking that somebody's going to sweep the whole thing, and you see that they haven't won a game in this series. So it's very interesting. I want to go back to something that I said when I was thanking Adrian for responding to the Lincoln Project on Twitter, because there's a lot of questions about what news cycles or what news platforms can be trusted. So again, thank you, Adrian, for putting news in motion. And you went even further after I responded to you to say it's become your trusted news source over national news. And that's not a direct quote, but that's what I took from that. And then you have people who will make comments saying, "Oh, but you can tell it's a digital platform." Yeah, you can, but get beyond the decorations, if you will, and focus on the actual content that's being delivered. We don't have the millions of dollars to do a studio and to have the 9 different cameras. We have 3, but the 9 different cameras and things like that. We don't have the resources or the team of a production staff, which consists sometimes of 10 to 20 people, to do all of that. We don't have all of that. We cannot afford that. So focus on the fact of what's being delivered and not the decorations or what it looks like and all of that. We get it. We get it. But try to zone in on the content and the delivery of that content. So I want to go to where we're talking about the ceiling is falling. Talks resume today, but it's not looking too good. You also have from Politico reporting, Senator Ed Markey, Democrat from Massachusetts, called on President Biden to invoke the 14th Amendment to end the standoff over raising the debt limit, calling it crucial to diffuse Republicans' efforts to block the president's policies. Pay attention to that. And if you have not read the 14th Amendment in a while, I would encourage you to go and read the 14th Amendment. Mike says, who cares about that? We don't. I know y'all don't. Hester Jackson said, it's a new day. News in motion is relevant. Listen. This is the way we do it. Thank y'all for y'all support. So, y'all, the White House has remained in this what we call locked battle with congressional Republicans. You even had Friday some drama where Speaker McCarthy just walked out, like, we're going to pause this, like, we're done. Those were all theatrics, okay? Now, McCarthy knows, and what he had to position himself that way, if you will, because it was out that the Democrats were ready to support him if he would just pass this budget, that they were going to support him. And when the people who were threatening him, that's why they went through 15 votes to get him in as speaker. When the people are threatening him, if he doesn't follow the way they want him to follow them, that they'll vote him out as speaker. Well, the Democrats said, we'll keep you in there. Same thing they did to John Boehner several years ago, but John Boehner ended up resigning. Let's just put the truth out there. Let's put the truth out there. By the way, y'all, when I was preaching yesterday, the mayor of Columbus was sitting in the congregation, and y'all know I had to talk some politics in that sermon too. And I put something out there with him, like, all right, mayor, because you can't be afraid to speak the truth. You got to put the truth out there. So I'm giving y'all the truth. So the White House is remaining this back and forth. Y'all know President Biden is coming back early. Negotiations will resume today. But Senator Markey is saying, no, just go ahead and invoke the 14th Amendment. He says, this is a direct quote, I am very strong of the opinion that the president should use the 14th Amendment. Some scholars have argued that the 14th Amendment, which declares that the validity of the national debt shall not be questioned, allows the government to continue paying its bills regardless of the debt ceiling. Y'all, a whole lot is coming out of this. Stay with me. So, President Biden, he's put certain things out there. He's going to come certain directions. So on his Instagram, he has President Biden's plan to reduce the deficit by $3 trillion. Here's what he's proposing: and cut spending, cut handouts to big farmer, savings of $200 billion. That sounds good. Eliminate tax subsidiaries for oil and gas, savings $31 billion. By the way, did y'all know Ohio passed a bill that if you have an electric car, when you go to get a renewal of your registration and license, they're going to tack on an additional $200? Yeah, that's happening. Ask me how I found out. So yeah, I was like, what, wait, you doing what? I got to pay for what? Because you no longer have that. It's hurting the gas tax of doing that. So you no longer have that. So then eliminate real estate loopholes. That's 19 billion. Eliminate cryptocurrency trading tax loopholes. That's 24 billion. That's a whole lot of billions right there. Can I just get 1 billion of that? And then raise revenue. Impose a billionaire minimum tax. I don't know why we're still having this discussion. A savings of 400 billion. Impose a billionaire minimum tax. Why aren't we doing that? Hold on, I'll tell you why in a minute. Raise the top income tax rates by 2. That would be a savings of 200 billion. Tax stock buybacks, savings of 200 billion. Raise taxes on large corporation, that's 1.3 trillion savings. Impose a global minimum tax, that's 500 billion. Y'all know I went and fact checked all this before I gave you these numbers. So here's the challenge. The reason they're not going for this, because many of them are in there. Many of them are receiving money from these places. Many of them are in that spot. You know, AOC came out and said, if you give up your yachts and all your service people, there's a savings right there, but they're not willing to do that. Hester says, all these billions. What about student loan debt? Well, and let's talk about that. He's trying to that's a part that the Republicans want to cut. They don't want that in there. And I'm like, what? We're still going to the Supreme Court for this, and you putting this in a plan? Make this make sense. I'm still at the PPP money and all the yachts and stuff like that. Now, y'all, the debt ceiling showdown, the consequences, here's just a few things that can happen. 1, seniors may not get Social Security payments. 2, troops could go unpaid. 3, estimated 7.8 million people could lose their jobs. We already having job loss with AI, artificial intelligence. 4, stock market could plunge. Interest rates could soar. This is where we are. This is where we are. Too much is going on, and we have to pay attention to this. So, is it the 14th Amendment that President Biden should go for? That's a great question that Senator Markey put out there. Like, just go ahead and enact the 14th Amendment. Show some spine, show some something. Don't play with these people because they're not listening anyway. And as Adrian said, McCarthy is spineless. That's what she's putting out there. Kim Edmondson says, save the drama and pass the budget. Adrian also says, even 0.5% to billionaires will help generate federal revenue. Yeah, I'm with you, Hester. Make this make some sense. But why hold us hostage? Why risk people not getting paid? Why risk any of that? We're already, and Deborah and I continue to have this conversation. I started this conversation here a couple of weeks ago. I want y'all to realize this. I'm not making this up. If you really pay attention, it's not a conspiracy thing right here. This is the truth. We have secretly been hired to do all kinds of things. And we're missing it because we want to be a part of it. I'm not bagging my groceries. I don't care. I'm not doing it. I don't have onboard training. And you might think, girl, you don't need onboard training to bag your. Yes, I do. I don't know how to open the bag sufficiently. I don't know how to do it. I'm not doing it. Regina says, AI took my coffee order this weekend. Can I please speak with the human? There's that. Let me talk to somebody. Just everything that we're doing. So there's all of these things that, give me some legislation with retail and restaurants. Seriously. We have all this stuff happening. People are making billions of dollars. Y'all look at some of the CEOs and what they're making. I ain't hating them for making money or their raises or whatnot, but you're cutting people. You're taking that money, but you're hiring us. I'm not your employee. I'm not doing it. I'm here to buy my product. You're not about to put me to work. I'm not about to pay you for my product and then not get paid. So here's the thing. You want me to bag my groceries, which I'm not doing that. But let's, for everybody who wants to bag your groceries, then if you bag them, if you scan them, if you do all of that stuff, at the end of that, $25 discount should come off. That's $25 an hour. We need to be able to set our own price. This is my hourly rate. Or do it a flat fee. This is my project. This is a program or a project. This is what's going to cost you to do that. Seriously, y'all, if we would have some backbone and take a stand, people won't continue to treat us the way they're treating us. They won't. We need to say no. We need to leave groceries in the middle of the aisle in the basket. Nobody's checking me out. Okay, bye. But see, we won't do that because you're like, oh, I need this. And I already spent 30 minutes, 45 minutes in the store to get all of this. So I'm going to just go ahead and do it. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not. Next, what we're going to be behind the pharmacy, filling our own prescriptions, going through saying, oh, I need 2 of these, 3 of these, 4 of these, and filling our own prescriptions. Seriously, y'all, we're going to start changing our own tires. I know y'all, some people can do that. I have never learned how to do that. No, I haven't. We're going to do that. We're going to now, what? We're going to go in the bank now and fulfill our own deposits and take out our own withdrawals beyond the ATM. Where does it stop? Where does it stop? Stop playing with us. Stop playing with us, and especially when you're going to cut education. 217 Republicans said no to education. 217 Republicans said no to veterans. 217 Republicans. Why aren't we raising those questions? Why are troops faced again with something else? They may not be paid. Are you kidding me? You're not paying them enough now. You're not giving them the medical and health care that they need now. You're not giving them the mental health treatment that they need now. You're not taking care of their families the way you should take care of their families now. And I have nothing wrong to say about this. I stand with Ukraine, but we've given so much money to Ukraine. We still are not dealing with our homeless population and our food insecurity of 33 million Americans. Make this make sense for me. Then we had an 8-year-old who died at the border, at the Texas border, in the care of Border Patrol. I need somebody to answer for that as well. What's going on with all of this? These are the questions we need to be asking. And yet, people are seriously considering this man for president. Not only the former guy, but Ron DeSantis. He's about to announce, I guess, this week. But Andrew Warren, the former AG of Florida, has a warning. Andrew Warren says who's a Democratic prosecutor for Florida County, who was suspended and now I guess he's gone, has described the move chilling for democracy. He says in a quote, no one else should have to adjust their behavior to the whims of a dictator. He told HuffPost Liz Skaka. Andrew Warren also reflected on the possibility of DeSantis becoming president. He says in a quote, if you don't say what he wants you to say, then you are at risk. On May the 2nd, Fox 13 Tampa Bay, because I had to get all my information to bring it to you, said the fight over former state attorney Andrew Warren's removal from office headed to the federal appeals court in Alabama last Tuesday. It's the latest move in a legal battle that began from August after Governor Ron DeSantis removed Warren from his office and accused the twice elected Hillsborough state attorney of neglect of duty. His attorney says, and I quote, we think that it's clear that the obvious explanation here is the right one. The governor didn't like what Mr. Warren was saying, and so he punished him for it. Came up with a pretext that he thought would pass what his narrative that was going out there. So y'all, that's what's happening. We keep ignoring these types of things, but the NAACP's not having it. NAACP put out a warning against travel to Florida over DeSantis' openly hostile policies. The NAACP board of directors have issued a travel warning about Florida that accuses the state, and they directly point to DeSantis of being openly hostile towards African Americans, people of color, and LGBTQ plus individuals. Again, that's in HuffPost and other reporting news outlets as well. So they're saying, don't go. Don't keep giving your money someplace. That's happening. Well, that's okay, because Disney's saying they ain't dealing with you either. So Disney said, we're pulling this $1 billion project that was going to bring 2,000 jobs into the area that was paying six figures. Hello, somebody. Disney said, we ain't playing with you. Now there's talks that Disney's talking about, let's just pick up and move someplace else. Yeah, this is happening, y'all, in Florida, where the company has caught flack from Governor Ron DeSantis, citing changing business conditions. Disney Parks chair announced that Disney was canceling plans for a new corporate campus in Orlando that would move, again, more than 2,000 jobs. Disney also said it was shutting down its luxury hotel at Walt Disney World, the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. These projects were the brainchild of the former CEO of Disney. They're like, we're done. We're done. They're suing him. If that's happening in Florida, imagine what Ron DeSantis would do in all the other states. Now, we were focused on the former guy and his dictatorship, and we can just say he's a little, but Ron DeSantis is a lawyer. He knows what he's doing. He's dangerous, if you ask me. That's my personal opinion. He's dangerous. Let me see. Some of y'all up here, y'all are talking. Yeah, y'all with me. Some of the things, if you're hearing me on the podcast, Marion Jackson says they want you to scan and bag your groceries, but they charge you for the bag. Yeah, 10 cents. I'm like, I ain't doing that. Adrian said, that's why I use pickup at grocery stores and Target. I feel it's keeping someone employed. Next, a robot's going to come out there. So Adrian says, Jacksonville voted in a Democratic mayor. Yep, last week. Pastor Annette. OMG, there's a lot. Y'all, then the Hill reports that Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, y'all know she's Republican, Georgia, District 14, filed articles. She plans on filing articles, or she did this weekend, of impeachment against President Joe Biden, alleging that neglect of migrant flows at the border. What, he's supposed to go over across the border and say, you can't walk this way? I mean, really make this make sense. Now, it's unclear if the articles will be brought to the House floor, but she's filing them, whatever. Then Chat GPT gets its own app, y'all. OpenAI released an app of its chat box for iPhone in the U.S. and said the version for green texters, they call y'all green, Samsung, is on the way. So do what you want to with that. I really can't anymore. NBC5 DFW reporting that 5 TikTok content creators have filed a lawsuit seeking to overturn Montana's first in the nation ban on the video sharing app, arguing the law is unconstitutional violation of free speech. The Montana residents also argued in a legal complaint filed in federal court late Wednesday without public notice that the state doesn't have any authority over matters of national security. See, when you know the laws and know the rules, you're able to respond. Then we also have ABC News that report, and y'all listen. We already losing jobs, so pay attention to this. U.S. drug overdoses reach almost 110,000 deaths in 2022. Preliminary data shows a 2% rise from 2021. Expert says data showing signs of plateauing after a 30% increase between 2019 and 2020. And included in there, and I talked about this last week, is the whole marijuana piece as well. So y'all, we have to back off of that. We have to pay attention. And especially any of you, Black or brown people, especially men, I want y'all to pay attention to this. We still have a issue of people thinking, can I trust them if you happen to get pulled over? So I want you to use wisdom and understanding when dealing with that. Y'all, again, reached almost 110,000 deaths in 2022. So, and that was an increase of 2% from 2021. So pay attention, which takes me to my next one, which we did talk about this last week, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it now. They call it getting high on the job. The Wall Street Journal reports that more Americans are high at work. Yeah. Positive marijuana tests among U.S. workers reached a 25-year high last year. So I slipped it in there last week. I'm giving you all the statistics today. According to Quest Diagnostics, the drug testing lab screened more than 6 million employees for pot following on-the-job accidents, and 4.3% came back positive, which is a bump from 3.9% in 2021. Quest Diagnostics attributes the jump in positive tests to a wave of marijuana legalization efforts across the country, but warned that getting high on the job, which can slow reaction time and impact memory, can have a major impact on safety at work and while driving. So again, y'all be real careful out there. I don't know if it's just the stress of what's going on, inflation or whatnot, but this is what's happening, y'all. It's happening. Mike Nicholson says, the wife and I were at a restaurant yesterday, and the server was high as a kite in outer space. He also says, so much segregation. Blue bubble, green bubble people. Oh, you talking about the phones? Lori Wallace says, think about all the young people or seniors who now don't have jobs. Good morning, Patricia Lau. So, y'all, a lot is happening. A lot is happening. So, with that, I want to end with the inspirational message, which I'm calling "Understand the Assignment." A little bit different than the message I preached on yesterday. Again, you can get that message from Second Baptist Columbus. It was their Women's Day. So that's on their website. And I think we have that somewhere in the chat. You can check that out later. But the inspirational message, thank you for that, Isaiah, secondbaptistcolumbus.com. The inspirational message, understand the assignment. I'm going to use a point that I started out with yesterday, and that is say less. Say less. Please say less. Many of us are sharing so much information about our personal lives and even to set up. Remember, I told you I wanted to do a study on Chat GPT just to get, so I had a better understanding. They wanted so much information from me that I had to back out because I was like getting very uncomfortable. Like, why do you need all of this? What's really going on? So then I did a dummy account so I could still try to do my research to report back to all of you. But they wanted so much information that I had to ask myself the question, why this information and why now? And then what was interesting as when I backed out, they started filling in information. They knew my location. But I looked and I said, okay, that's my fault. I had my location on. So I turned off my location. They were putting other information in there. And I was like, how do they know this? So y'all go back to your phones or your tablets or laptops and make sure you check what's turned on and what's turned off. You can also go in and turn off your microphone on certain apps so that's not picking up. Even iPhone has a thing that says don't track, is a non-tracking piece. That's turned on all of my apps. So I still was trying to figure out how did they get this information. So y'all, even though we're talking technology in that instance, I also want to talk about everyday life. Say less. Don't give people anything to use against you. I know that's a lot and that's stressing us out today, but we have to understand the assignment. What is it that God is speaking specifically to you that's just for you in this season? And what are those things that you're supposed to be sharing? Because everything is not shareable. It's not. If you think about going into a restaurant, you have family sharing, what they call a family meal, where everything goes to the center of the table. And it's like you're sitting at your own dining room table and you're sharing that meal. Then there's that individual menu where you're getting individually what you want. And you create that menu to say no this, no that. Like my favorite thing is no cilantro. I can't stand that stuff. But I know people say people have either they love it or they hate it. I'm a hater of cilantro. Can't stand it at all. So I make sure that's off of everything that I order. That's not going on anything. And if it comes on it, you taking it back because I can't stand it. Even one piece will change my entire meal. What are you saying? What are you participating in? And how do you need to communicate effectively without putting all your cards on the table? So understand your assignment for this season. It's going to bring less stress for you. It's going to take away toxic people from you. It's going to take away all this stuff swirling around in your mind for you. You'll be able to stay the course and take that course based upon you understanding your assignment. Here's something else, real quick. Stop sharing your assignment with other people unless you have been specifically told to share it. Don't do it. Don't do it. There'll be a time and a season for you to unveil it later. But going in, Lori says your assignment may be different in different seasons. Absolutely, you're right. Deborah said, I missed out on the major opportunity by telling someone before it happened. Yep, that happens too. Regina Short says, I just gave that advice to my nephew who graduated from college. There's that. That's confirmation. Tanya says, not everyone is your fan. You are absolutely correct. All right, y'all. This is it for News in Motion on today. I am your host, Gail Dudley. Thank you for tuning in. Tomorrow we have That's Happening Tuesday. And we also have a new segment that's rolling in from Unboss Columbus as well. So until tomorrow, y'all know what I say. Stay well and remember, make some bold moves. I'm out.